The Jungle Bird cocktail is one of those rum cocktails that I thought I should like, but I never really did until I started flash blending it. For me, flash blending this cocktail is a complete game changer. It just did something to the balance of the cocktail that shaking alone just couldn't bring to it. And when we're talking about flash blending, no, we don't mean using your NutriBullet or your big old blender that you got in your kitchen. We're talking about like a spindle blender, a milkshake blender. That kind of just creates a completely different vibe without turning it into a slush puppy. Now, I've completely fallen in love with this cocktail. It's one of my favorite rum cocktails. But in this video coming up in a bit, I've got ideas of how you can bring a different life to it. I like that phrase, a different life to it. I'm not saying bring new life to it, bring a different life to it. In other words, I'm going to give you some inspiration about how to riff this up. Now, firstly, I'll be testing some different rums. Does the base rum make any difference to this cocktail at all? And secondly, I'm also going to have a little play with the pineapple juice. But before we get into them, we need to know how to make the cocktail. So, as I've said, we're going to flash blend it. The ingredients, pretty damn easy. Black blended rum. Don't forget, we're going to be playing with that. Campari, brown sugar, demerara sugar, pineapple juice, and lime juice. So, ingredient number one, 45 ml of your black blended rum. And don't forget, this is kind of Navy strength as well, like 54.5%. So we got that. We've got 22.5 ml of your Campari, your bitter. We're going 15 ml of, so half an ounce of your brown or demerara sugar. We're then going 15 ml of lime juice, freshly squeezed lime juice, and a bit for the bar. And we're going for 60 ml, you guess, double bubble of pressed, 100% pressed pineapple juice. So I'm just going to crush dice that, a couple of agitator cubes, flash blend it, and then just serve it up. And there we go. Literally 5-6 seconds later, little shake and dump. Just about perfect, tiny little bit. That we'll top that up in a second. We're just going to garnish that with a couple of pineapple fronds, maybe a sort of an orange, whatever you fancy, sprig and mint, but that is the Jungle Bird. Now I tell you, thumbnail done, thumbnail taken. Tasting that drink, it's got that lovely, luscious kind of dark rum vibes, Jamaican rum vibes, but that little bit of bitterness going against the pineapple juice. It's just a fantastically balanced cocktail that I never really got when I shook it. It was flash blended. It's getting that aeration in there, getting that texture. It just completely transforms the cocktail. So then, you lot know I love an experiment, and this is today's experiment. I want to know how the style of rum affects this cocktail. The recipe I got from Martin Kate, the Smugglers Cove, and it does call for a black blended rum. And to be fair, Beach Bum Berry does the same in there, and quite a few other recipes I see around the interwebs, it's all like dark or black blended rum. So again, that's why I used where the 109 54.5% black Jamaican rum. How are these going to stack up? Have these well-renowned tiki gods been using the wrong rum all these years? Or do they know what they're doing? Have they got it sorted? Let's find out. Now, before I go any further, I've just got a few favours to ask from you guys. I mean, you can like and subscribe if you haven't done already. That'd be amazing. But let's build the community. I want to get you guys involved. Firstly, this is the Jungle Bird. Have you got any other sort of rum tiki cocktails that you want me to do this experiment with? Let me know the cocktails below, and I might look at doing that in a future video. All right. And then secondly, let's focus on the Jungle Bird. Do you make the Jungle Bird? What kind of rum do you use, or what brand of rum do you use in your Jungle Bird? And have you played about? Have you found your brand simply because you played about with a couple of other rums and didn't like them and found this one? So let the community know. Let me know in the comments below. Now, I don't know why I'm flipping holding that. The straw's there. I can't drink anything out of it. There we go. Right. So what I've done, what you can see, you know me, I don't mess around with this. I've done this all scientifically, as always. I flash blended the Jungle Bird mix, so the Campari, the lime, the pineapple juice, and the brown sugar. I flash blended that, and then we've poured 37.5 ml of that into each one of these glasses, so you can see all the frothage. So 37.5 ml into there, and then I've added 15 ml of the rum into these glasses. That would replicate the ratio that I did for that. I've already had a taste, of course I had. I know exactly where this is going. So the first off, the one I dislike the most, this cocktail really isn't suited to the rum bar overproof or the what's it called? I can't forget. What's it called? Ray and Nephew. It really isn't suited to that. It's just not great. For me, those kind of high esters and all that, it's not the ABV so much, it's just that high banana-y, estery kind of thing. It just doesn't suit the cocktail for me. So I'm discounting that. Now, the next ones I'm going to discount are actually the two Spanish Star. I think that's the only Spanish Star ones I've got there. The Cube and the Flor de Carne, and actually the Chairman's White. Now, look, they are lovely cocktails. The rum just doesn't punch through enough or give it enough flavour to do justice to the cocktail. Well, there's not enough ABV in the rum, I should say, to punch through in those two, but there's not enough body in the Chairman's White to punch through as well. So they're the next three I'm discounting. Now, the next one I'm discounting is the Dawleys. I don't know why I went for this one and not kind of like the 5-year-old or something like that, or the Plantation Barbados. I just went for some random rums. I've got no rhyme or reason. The sherry vibes off that really don't do justice to the cocktail. It becomes, it's this weird, it's almost too sweet. And that is not a sweet rum. Now, it is something I ain't factored in. Are we going Mai Tai Valuesque? Is a 12 rum blend going to make the ultimate jungle bed? No. But then I have discounted the worst ones. That's just a bit meh. Now, the next two I'm going to discount is actually a little bit of a shock to me, because I thought they'd be up there. I thought these guys would be up with a chance of making this into a great cocktail. But it's the Black Tot and actually the Pusser's Spiced. Again, they're not quite as sweet as the Dawleys XO, but they are a little bit too sweet. It loses the balance of the cocktail. Bearing in mind, they're still punchy rums. I always forget how strong the Black Tot is, but it's 46.2. And so it's quite a healthy strength, a healthy ABV. The Black Tot just does nothing really. You know, it hasn't got the volume, it hasn't got the body, which is quite bizarre because it is a really loved sort of layered rum. It's really nice. And the Pusser's Spiced is just too sweet. And I'm consigning them to the meh blend, because I might actually do a 5 rum blend to see if that works. Now, the focus for these 5 is, do they come close? Do they do that cocktail justice? That for me is exactly how I like that cocktail. That's exactly how I think that cocktail should be. While it is a lovely, lovely drink, and it is lovely, it's head and shoulders above everything else that I've got, I have to get rid of Appleton 8 because it's just too easy going. It sits on the fence. That's a great way of describing it. It sits on the fence as a cocktail. It's lovely. It's brilliant. It doesn't make you sort of sit up and go, oh, like that. But it is an absolute pleasure to drink. And then the next one I'm going to get rid of, we go the other way and we go Pussers, the gunpowder proof. Again, head and shoulders above everything else that I've got rid of. It's just too rich. It hasn't got that little bit of spunk. I don't know where that word came from, but it hasn't got that little bit of spunk, just to kind of give that oomph to that cocktail. Is that the right word? Spunk? Can I even use spunk? I don't know. But I do think they'll add something cool to a 5 rum blend. So, you know, we'll have a sit. Now, is there an out-and-out winner here? These are really bizarre choice. But I keep coming back to the Smith & Cross. It shouldn't be bizarre. It should be an automatic choice. And it probably is an automatic choice for a lot of you. And again, it continually surprises me when I'm playing about in these cocktails. It's not a rum that I actually enjoy or like, really have a lot of love for on its own. Neat. It really isn't. Always a mixer. But when you start putting it in cocktails, that is when that rum comes out to play. And I think, being brutally honest, out of the 3 that's left, that's the one that I would put in first place. Because while it doesn't give the body of that black sort of Jamaican rum, it certainly does give the taste. And that's kind of what I want. But the big 2 surprises for me are down here. Do you know what? I really like that. That has just got something else that comes out. There's the bit of Guyana, the bit of Jamaica in there. Both of those play really well. The rum does not get lost in the slightest, which it did in the Mai Tai. But that is a phenomenal jungle bed. I really do like that. And then the Chairman's Legacy offers something completely and utterly different to anything I've tasted here. I mean, it's delicious without having that Jamaican vibe to it. It's delicious. It's definitely got that rum vibe to it. It's definitely got the character. It's not too sweet. It's perfectly balanced. It is a delicious jungle bird. And I think the fact that it's 43% as well does kind of help it. And compared to, but 42%, sorry, I thought I had that in my head that was 40% ABV. But, so there we go. I can't, you know, the Smith & Cross is my favourite. But I really do like these 2. But I want to point out that none of them, absolutely none of them, compete with that. Now the question is, how good is this 5-rum blend? Do you know what? It's pretty decent. It is pretty decent. It's got the Jamaican funk going on, but again, it ain't competing with that. Now the experimentation isn't done there with the rum, because is the pineapple juice. Is that the right thing for the cocktail? Now I know if you start playing about with the juice and all that, you are going to change the name of the cocktail. It's not a Jungle Bird if it's with mango juice. Let's be brutally honest. But cocktails all about riffing up and experimenting and having your own twist and fun. So do these juices work? Now again, blinkered head on before I even did this, I thought, do you know what, one of my favourites is going to be mango, and the orange is just going to bring nothing to the party. How flipping wrong was I? Because the worst one out of the 4 is the mango. Oh my God, that just doesn't work at all. And basically, just so you know, I've flash blended the ingredients except for the juice in this one. So the juice, so it's all measured out scientifically and done all that, but I've flash blended the lime, the rum, the brown sugar, and the Campari. And not the juice. The juice has just gone in there and we've mixed. So that's how I've done that. But the mango, it clashes. For me, it clashes violently. And I don't know whether that's the rum, or I don't know whether that's the Campari. But for me, there is just something not quite right about that. Now, when we come to these 3, the passion fruit I'm going to put in 3rd. The passion fruit is lovely. It's a lovely, lovely drink. But it's almost too safe to sit on the fence. It's not getting splinters. It's not going, hey, look at me, I'm a fantastic cocktail. It's saying, that's a really nice and tasty cocktail, but I'm not fantastic. Whereas bizarrely, and I say bizarrely, I should have really thought about this, because, you know, bartending 101, like way back in the day, Campari and orange juice. Campari does go with orange juice. I should have known that. I should have realised that. What I hadn't really contemplated and done in my head, it was the whole rum. I'm not a rum and orange juice fan. I know many people are, but I'm not. I don't get rum and orange juice. But the Campari with that really does shine through. That is delicious. Absolutely love that. For me, I'm not quite sure whether it topples the pineapple juice, but it's definitely a fantastic riff. It is a fantastic variation. Now this tropical juice, for me, really does offer something different. Apple, mandarin, pineapple, passion fruit, and mango juice. For me, just above the orange. Still not as good as the pineapple, but I tell you what, again, that is a fantastic riff. And if you wanted to recreate the Jungle Bird, give it a different name with the Tropicana one, I'm not sure how the supermarket ones stack up against that. I tried to get Tesco's. I'll be honest, I tried to get Tesco's. I couldn't get it. So I got Tropicana, because this is coming up in another video coming up really soon. But out of the riffs, my favourite, head and shoulders, is that tropical. Now I haven't quite finished. Just before I let you go, let's talk about some other kind of inspiration I could give you for the Jungle Birds without kind of changing it too much. So let's talk off about the apéro, the aperitif, whatever you want to classify this. The Campari. Look, after falling in love with this cocktail, I do not think there's a way that you can upgrade. There's different flavours, different directions, but I don't think you can upgrade. I don't think you can make the cocktail better. So Campari for me is the benchmark. 25% ABV. It is bitter, it is pungent, and that's what you need for this cocktail, for me personally. If you're really not a huge fan of Campari, you can dial that right back down to Aperol. Aperol is 11% ABV. You know, let's be honest, it's just a bit stronger than tap water. But you know, it does add a slight element of bitterness to it. It's kind of good. If you're flavour forward and not so much alcohol forward, then the Pampel, I really do like Pampel. I would love that to be a little bit stronger. It's 15% ABV, but grapefruit forward. Now, grapefruit and pineapple, we know, works extraordinarily well. So yes, the flavour combo in the Jungle Bird, just by swapping that for that, is amazing. I just want that to be slightly punchier. I just want it to have a little bit more kick. But I really do rate Pampel. I love it. So grapefruit forward now. And then the other direction you go, completely opposite direction sort of thing, is a gentian liqueur like Sue's. This is 20% ABV. Again, a bitter Aperol. It hasn't quite, Apero, I should say. It hasn't quite got the flavour, the sort of orangey kind of rhubarby, whatever you want to call it, flavour of Campari. It goes off in a different sort of herbal route with the gentian and all that sort of stuff. but it is an intriguing kind of variant. So that's your aperos that you can swap out. Before I get into the bitters, the liqueurs, I've played about with a few liqueurs in this. Now, you would have to kind of, because the liqueurs add sweetness, you would, for me, have to dial back your demerara, your brown sugar in the cocktail. But the one flavour that I think does work well with the pineapple, because it goes really well with pineapple, is vanilla. So you could go Giffard, posh vanilla, the Madagascar, absolutely adore that. Or you can go liquor 43, 43 herbs and spices. The overriding flavour is vanilla. Amazing kind of riffs in the Jungle Bird to give it that little vanilla edge. You could even think about it. You could even swap the brown sugar for vanilla sugar. I hadn't even thought of that until I was chatting. So you could go that direction if you wanted. But as I say, if you are going to sort of add a liqueur or anything like that, just dial back the brown sugar because they are sweet. But then the last things to talk about are bitters. You guys should know that I love my bitters. I've got a whole collection down there. These are, I've scoured my bitter collection, 46 I think I'm up to now. These are for me what I would do hands down in a Jungle Bird without changing any of the ratios whatsoever. These are amazing. Now these two kind of work side by side. Out and out hibiscus bitters. Hibiscus in that works amazing. I promise you, game changer. But the burlesque bitters are hibiscus, acai and pepper. So they've got a little bit of kind of sort of that kick to them. Traditionally sort of a tequila, but in this cocktail it does really, really work. So you've got that sort of hibiscusy vibe going on. We've got the Yalamakuli Tiki bitters. Tiki in this give you that cinnamon clove allspice. Again, works an absolute treat in the Jungle Bird. I promise you it does. And then we've got two other ways we can go here. I'm not even sure they're face fronting. Cinnamon bitters, cinnamon, pineapple, works a treat. Absolutely does. Cinnamon's a big staple in rum cocktails, a great way to go. And then finally, grapefruit. I've already mentioned it, grapefruit because of the Pampel. Grapefruit and pineapple is just a match made in heaven. They really, really work. So any of those would work